Welcome to another edition of Confidence Factor Talks for Men. My name is Lamont Gwynn, and I am in the building, baby. I am excited to be here. Ooh, we got a show for you. We have a show for you. Ooh, we're going to do part two of our show from last week. The mental hacks to overcome life and business failures and setbacks. And boy, do we have some stories for you tonight. But before we get started, I got to bring on the crew. I got to bring on the guys that we've come together. We've created Confidence Factor. We are four lions together building this thing. So without further ado, I want to bring on my next door neighbor. Yo, we was out this weekend selling water. Boy, in the hot sun until it started raining. My brother from another mother, his name is Darian Hill. Welcome to the show, Darian.
Yeah. You already know, man. I'm happy to be here with my brother, Lamont, my water seller, you know.
Exactly, man. we was out there selling water.
Listen, man, sometimes you got to sell water, sometimes you got to sell in, man. But you sell what the people want, my brother. You sell what the people want.
What the people want.
Sell what the people want. So, yes, glad to be here, man.
Glad to have you here. And then all the way north, but he always is close to my heart.
Yeah,
my brother,
heart level.
Bobby B in the building.
Heart level.
Whoa.
Today is a great day, and it is the best day of my life. Listen, whatever you seen yesterday can't be done today. Tomorrow may never come. So I'm going to ride this one out today. Now is all we ever have. So whoever I'm going to be tomorrow, I'm going to be it today. Whoever I was yesterday, I'm going to learn that lesson, baby. Today's the day. I am super happy. I'm so grateful, brothers. Sometimes you can go as low as you can go. And when you realize that, guess what? There's only one thing left. Go back up. Willie Jolly said a setback is a setup for a comeback. And I'm back.
In the building.
Yeah. Let's do this. Who we got? Bring them up.
All right. And he's feeling a little under the weather, but he's always in the building. He's going to be a part of this conversation. Is our brother, the connection catalyst, inspirer, the one who gets us riled up. The brother, Rudy LaRose. What's up, brother?
What's going on? Listen, I'm excited to be in the building, but I'm on the side of the building. I'm laying on the wall of the building, but I am still in the building no matter what, man. It is an exciting time to be here with you, Lions. I'm fired up, I'm present, and I am engaged. Lock in. Let's go.
Love Excellent. It. Hey, and you got that extra deep voice this morning today, man. I'm loving that one. You got that deep voice.
Bro, I can't with you. I can't.
He got a little Barry White going on over there.
Listen, you got to bring what you got, right? You got to bring what you got. And I appreciate my brother for bringing what he got, okay? Because, hey, fellas, what is our motto here in Confidence Factor? There's 2 times that you show up. Bobby, tell us.
There's only 2 times when you got to show up, baby. When you feel like it, and when you don't. Yes.
All right. That's
only 2 times.
That's what I'm talking about. 2 times you show up. So that's some value for you. And some people will say that, listen, by dropping knowledge is not enough. Some people will say that by dropping knowledge is not enough. But sometimes clarity is all someone needs to make a shift in their life. Sometimes clarity creates the confidence for people to be able to take the necessary action that they need in life. So when some people say that some knowledge is not important and some people only drop knowledge, sometimes knowledge is all someone needs to jumpstart their life. And so we're here to share some knowledge tonight to give you some clarity, to give you some understanding, some life lessons about mental hacks to overcome life and business failures and setbacks, because we all go through them. Even those who are, riding high, making things happen, they've had some setbacks. They've gone through journeys in their own life. They've lost businesses. They were homeless. They were going through struggles in their own life. And sometimes, they forget that. But the process is this. It's simply that as we go through this journey called life, as we go through this journey, this game called life, you have to remember that there are going to be ebbs and flows at every level. There's always going to be the devil. There's things that you're going to have to face with. And there's a way in which you handle circumstances and continue to give back to your community no matter what state that you're in. You keep showing up and you keep making those adjustments and keep improving. That's what it's all about. So we're here to have heart level conversation that leads to transformation. That's right. Heart level conversation that leads to transformation. Here in this community, we're all about growth. We're all about celebration. We're all about, acknowledging and honoring each other, a space of integrity, to look at our flaws, to look at the things that we're doing right and continuing to improve. And so we're talking about part 2, of course, about the mental hacks to overcome life's business failures and setbacks. And, as we here in Confidence Factor, really focused on our mission is to impact the lives of over 5 million men and do it imperfectly. Do it imperfectly. And you've heard those stories of groups who got together and they were initially dysfunctional. You hear those groups that got together initially and didn't have it right. You hear those groups who got together. All of a sudden people say, well, man, they had overnight success, right? That's because they stuck to it. So sometimes all you may have is consistency. Sometimes all you may have is your show up game. But I'm gonna encourage you guys that no matter what the people around you are saying, no matter what those who are riding on high horses may have to say about you, keep showing up, keep making the adjustments, keep stepping forward, right, in your life. Because one day you may become one of those individuals who they say, man, he had an overnight success. That's what it's all about. Fellas, we're in the building. We're in the building, man. I'm excited to have this conversation, man. Bobby, what's going on with you, champ?
Man, I'm thinking about, man, so many lessons that I've learned along this journey, right? And one of the things that comes to mind, last week we were talking, right? I want to share this really quickly. Last week we were talking, I shared a story about how I did my first real estate deal. But, and I got, before this guy showed me how to do my first real estate deal, I was doing really bad, right? I was doing really bad. And I remember a time when this guy came in. I was selling cell phones at the time. And I was there only because I had failed at doing mortgages. My wife was like, bro, you need to get a job. Go get a job. I was like, you're not supporting me. I was upset. And my wife told me, you got to go get a job. I went to get the job reluctantly. They had a minimum of 2 phones per day you had to sell. And I would sell my phones and I'd sit there and read the Bible. Like this was inconvenience in my life. But my situation was still very bad. And I was coming off a big L. And I met this guy, and this guy brought me into this training. And he sat me down. He brought a bunch of us in. And he started spelling everything out. He was like, this is how this works. And he explained everything to me. I said, that's how it works? I said, so you say if I go back to the store, like I was going to call him on the BS, right? I said, you saying what you just showed me, if I go back to the store and try what you just showed me, I could sell more than the 2 phones per day? He said, yeah. Bro, I went back to that store and took that new information that he explained to me. I put 7 phones out in 3 hours, where before I would do 2 phones in like a whole 8-hour shift. The next day I came and I did 9 phones. The next day I came and I did 11 phones. Bro, I was convinced I could sell the phones with my eyes closed. I got my first manager. I said, I want you to stand right next to me and I'm going to show you how to do this. I show her everything. I didn't leave her side until she understood what I understood. I said, now good. Now we're going to hire one more person. Do you know that was the worst store in the entire company? When we got done, everybody was telling us we was calling people out of the phone book. They was telling us we was cocky. They was telling us we was arrogant. They were saying our store was special. Yeah. And I thought back, I say, this is all because this guy sat me down and explained this to me and showed me how to think differently. But that was during the cell phone. But I would not even have gotten to the real estate had that guy not showed me that from the cell phone. So I guess what I'm saying here is, in life, things build on top of other things. And the universe will continue to release things to you as you're ready for it. Sometimes you think you're ready, you ain't ready. If I would have got the blessing, I know I got now, I know I got it. You don't see it, but I got it. If I'd have got it last year or 2 years ago, but I'd have got in trouble. Because I still was not bent on the journey and enjoying the journey.
Mm.
I'm be honest, I still didn't get it. I still didn't get it. Now I told my wife, I said, look, if I'm gonna do this shit in 5 years, I'm gonna do it now. I don't care. You call me a fraud, call me a phony. But the point is that we're gonna keep this journey moving, and I'm gonna keep my eyes out the front windshield until I hit my destination, and I'm gonna enjoy every moment along the way.
Mm.
And if I had one thing I could share with somebody, I would tell everyone. I remember a dude asked me one time, he said, what's the one thing you would want to share everyone? I changed it since then. I would now tell people, enjoy your journey. Every freaking step of the way. Enjoy it. Because as the universe continues to unfold things, there's going to be things you can look back and be like, I never even seen that coming. I couldn't even plan that. Right? And that's the kind of good things we got here in store for us at Conference Factor. And I'm excited about how it's going to be rolled out. And it's going to be amazing. That's what's on my mind. I'm complete.
I love that, man. I love that. You know what really resonated with me about that, what you just said, is sometimes success can come too fast.
Mm.
Sometimes success can come too fast. And what constitutes coming too fast is a lot of times there are people who don't do the inner work necessary to maintain the success.
Mm.
They'll get to a certain place and they'll start ruining relationships.
Mm.
People will start departing from them because the inner work isn't complete. And people wake up one day and say, there's something about this person I just don't like.
Mm.
There's something about this that just don't feel right to me. And they depart. And then the person sitting around saying, well, I built this, but if it's built from a platform or from a space, it's built from a space of the inner work ain't being done. What's the use of it? Yeah, you'll put money in your pocket for a minute, but it's the inner work that's going to help you sustain it. And that's one thing that I love about being with you fellas is the fact that we are doing the inner work. We may not be moving as fast as other people. We may not be building as tall as other people, but damn it, we are doing the inner work to sustain what we build. Our foundation, we are putting bricks on this foundation every single day. And much like the bamboo tree, we just keep watering it. Mm-hmm. We keep watering it. And what's going to happen? Pew. That's what's on my mind today. I'm complete for a minute.
No, I got that. I love that you shared that about the bamboo tree, and the importance of the inner work. When we look around today, and we, especially for men, we're in a defining moment, right? We're in this weird transition that's happening right now, and we're seeing so many guys checking out because everybody told them that what success looks like is just about making money, right? Everybody says that, just only about making money. And then the world defines you as a man only based upon what you can provide. And nobody's asking you about you as a man. How do you feel inside as you're going through this journey of life? Hey man, what's going on with you? Oh man, you all right? How are you feeling today? Nobody concerned about that. Nobody cares about that, right? Everybody is concerned about what you can provide. So a lot of men are walking around feeling like the only value that they have, that their self-worth is only attached to their net worth. And that's it. As a human being, that they don't matter. As a human being, that their value set is only around that one thing. That there are other aspects to themselves that nobody really sees or isn't concerned about even looking at. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge. And here in this community, it is the tentacles of the matrix that we have, this construct in life that we are part of, that we are intentional about pulling out. And so to your point, Lamont, there is a need to re-examine and reimagine what it looks like even to be in success, in relationship to success.
Mm-hmm.
And what does happiness in that process, as Bobby says, what does happiness in that journey look like? Is it only when I'm at arrival can I say that I'm somebody, or am I somebody going through a process?
Right.
Mhm.
And I think it's important that people recognize that even before you arrive at success, you're already a success. You're born a champion, right? To the process of life, you came into this world already a winner. And saying that to somebody is important. So I'll tell you a story. So I've been bringing on a lot of clients, right? So this week I have the privilege of bringing on some more marketing clients, and it's becoming more and more for me very clear of the work that I'm doing beyond just marketing and just helping people to make money. So this week I spoke to 2 clients, very successful individuals in their own right. And as I'm talking to them, one in particular, a client or lead who just became a client, the thing that has stopped her for so many years, this thing that has stopped her for years, over 2 years now, she's been trying to develop a program and put things together and show up more in her life, is she has this idea that if she promotes something that people are not going to show up, right? If I promote something, people are not going to show up. That's the idea. And I know it's much deeper than that. But to be at a space and conversation with her, to hear her say that, to share that, to be open about where she is mentally, and then be able to support her through that conversation as a marketer, right? To support her through that conversation was very meaningful for her. And now we're going to be working with her to help her to grow her business and take her coursework to 6 and 7 figures, because we've done that with other clients. But what I'm saying is, here's somebody who's successful, but at the same time still dealing with the limiting beliefs and the feelings about self, and not showing up, and already has the wherewithal, the capabilities, the potential to be able to make a big impact in the world. And so I say all that to say this, that oftentimes the things that we need to address in people and help to support people through is the inner work, is the inner conversation, right? And the things that we need to support ourselves with is the inner conversation, so that we can show up more, and so that we can make a bigger impact. And when we do that, it's from a space of character, right? It's from a space of character. So I do want to share, as we talk about mental hacks, right? You talk about enjoying the journey. So important, because so many of us think it's about just, hey, when we arrive at this and we get this, we're going to be happy, right? We're going to be happy. And oftentimes we find that we, climb the ladder to realize that we're on the wrong ladder, right? We arrived at the destination going like, is this it? Is this all that everybody was having me stress myself out about, having me, jeopardize my health, jeopardize my relationships for me to get to this place where I still feel empty? So it's not just about success. A mental hack for me is also finding ways to get to success, but also to have fulfillment in that process. And to Bobby's point, it's about enjoying the journey, right? So I wanted to share that. Any thoughts on that, fellas?
Yeah, something that came up for me while you was talking about that is one of the things that I have been very intentional about in building my business, and just because moving from homelessness to where I'm at now, just that whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I have been very intentional about is the need to prove anything to anybody, to prove people wrong. I have to prove to myself what I'm capable of. I don't have to prove it to anybody else. I got to prove it to myself. And so sometimes people on the outside looking in will try to make you feel as though what you're doing isn't enough, or you could do it a certain way or do it a different way. And one of the things I've learned to, as a mental hack, turn down that noise and be like, I'm not trying to prove anything to you. You're not even in my, this isn't about you. This is about me And so
This is
what
about
I'm going
me.
to, uh-oh. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on proving what I can do to me for me. And that helps me
Mhm.
enjoy the journey. Like you're talking about enjoying the journey. That helps me when I have wins to celebrate my wins. And I don't necessarily have to go on social media to post my wins. I can celebrate my wins in private. I can celebrate my wins in my bank account. I can celebrate my wins when I do something that I haven't been able to do financially for myself or for my business. I can celebrate those wins that way. And it doesn't have to be on a public spectrum where everybody can see it. Because for me, this journey for me is about me proving the stuff that I have inside and building from there.
Mm, I love that. Woody, you got any thoughts? Any thoughts,
Ye-
Woody?
Yeah, Lamont. I'm gonna both with Lamont and Bobby. I'm gonna second that. Being able to enjoy the journey. Listen, I have been an entrepreneur over 20 years, right? And I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of businesses come and go. I've seen a lot of clients come and go. I've seen people, go from entrepreneurship to having to work for somebody, and vice versa. I was just talking to a gentleman today. He was he used to have a huge office, several employees, and what he told me today was amazing. He said, and now he's had some, definitely some ups and downs in his life, has lost a lot of things, right? Just physical things and so on and so forth. But here's what he said. He said, when think about back then and I think about what I built, I think about the employees that I had. And now to see them flourish, to see them have kids and families, to see them go on and do some great things, and for them to be able to come back and say, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for, instilling these different values in me when I was working for you. He said, for me, that's everything. And I see my clients are the same. I think about one particular client, every chance she gets to thank me just for just being an encouragement to her is she does that, and she runs a major marketing company. I think about another client who was going through a divorce, and rather than me showing up and quote unquote doing business, I just sat and listened to what was going on with her, and I encourage her at the same time. I think about some of the male clients as well who go through moments of loneliness, isolated and feeling that they don't matter. And I think about the conversations that we've had, and for them to come back and say, Rudy, you've always been there from day one, and I just want to thank you for just being there for me. Forget the business, forget everything else. Just thank you for being there. And here's the thing: ultimately, in this journey that I've been on, my mind hack is the fact that all of these opportunities to meet some incredible people does turn into profits. It absolutely does, because when it comes to conversations of leveling up the business, when it comes to conversations of, hey, I've got to raise my rates, there is no pushback, because they know who I am. They know what I'm made of. They know the relationship that we've built over the years is pure. And they know that no matter what, when they are down and out, when they're sick, I will do anything and everything to move their energy, to move their focus, to connect them with whoever I need to connect them with, so that they can be in better health, not just from a business standpoint, but also from a heart level standpoint, from a mind standpoint. And so my mind hack is to continue being who I am. And for a while, that was a struggle to separate the person, Rudy LaRose, from the IT guy, whose only job used to be just answering the phone to solve technical problems. And I realized more and more that the more I injected myself into what I do, and just being a person who loves on people and who cares, the more that people wanted to do business with me.
You want me? You want me,
You're
Jay?
me, Darren.
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to, take this opportunity to underscore, what Rudy just shared and give him his flowers, man, because so oftentimes we see it. We wait until people are passed on to give them their flowers, or we don't recognize and honor people in their greatest of moments. It's easy to recognize people. This is another mind hack. Recognize your greatest moments, but it's so easy to look at people in their down moments and highlight those things on social media, highlight those things in life. But I just want to honor my brother because, I know for a fact of how he has worked hard to establish relationships with people, how much he's given to individuals. I'm not saying he's perfect, but one thing he's shown us what it looks like to invest in other people,
Mm.
invest in other people. My father always said that relationships are your greatest currency. And I can tell you, Rudy's one of those individuals who has really, to me, exemplified what it means to, understand the currency of relationships and to even enroll other people into, being better in terms of connecting with some of the people that he even knows, to check in on people, to go visit them. And so I got to celebrate my brother and just honor you for your intentionality in the work that you're doing. And that's a mind hack. Celebrate the people in your life. People are not perfect; they're human, but recognize the moments and the greatness of their life, the greatest things that they're doing, the things that they bring forth that should be celebrated, and be intentional about celebrating those things. It's easy to poke a jab. It's easy to look at what people are not because we tend to look at what we're not, or we focus on our own negative traits or negative habits, and instead of celebrating the positive in others, we just do what we do with ourselves, which is try to bring other people down. And so I just want to celebrate my brother for his continued efforts to be there and to his example, showing how those relationships can be cultivated into profit. You know what I mean? So that's
Thank
what
you,
I'm,
my brother. Thank
yeah,
you very much. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, it's big. It's big what he's sharing about especially with Rudy. Even from the very beginning, I know from my journey personally, Rudy was there to help me in my journey. And he has constantly been giving and teaching me about relationships. I still have a long way to go, but I can remember when things were good in my life. I had plenty of money flowing. It was easy to be a good friend, right? It was easy to remember birthdays. It was easy to show up. I had nice clothes. I had a fancy car. It was easy, right? And to be honest, like my wife and I, we laugh about it. Sometimes I say, hey man, I used to be an asshole. Sometimes, I used to be an asshole. And so, you know, moving from that space into a space of not having anything flipped my mentality. It taught me to be more empathetic, sympathetic, and more understanding about where people are. I'll be honest, I didn't really know how to meet people where they were, right? And I had this one guy, like I got to the point, let's just keep it real talk. We keep, right? Hard level,
Hello.
hard level. I got to one point, I was sitting down asking as I was on my journey. Sometimes you can get to a space where you get into a real dark room, right? Where things are really dark and you start this negative talk, negative, where you really start working it up. I'm not important. Nobody gonna miss me. Like you start doing that whole thing. And one point, I remember I was thinking to myself, I say, man, everybody always say I'm a good person. Like bro, I've not been a person that I've met. Say I'm a bad person. Everybody say I'm a good person. I thought to myself, I said, but damn, where's the bad people at? Right? Because I say, bro, hey, call it what you want, man. It's just body beat math. My math didn't add up. I say, damn it, everybody I talk to say I'm a good person. And I said, but damn it, where's the bad people? Right? And so you hear that with toxicity too. Some people are toxic in relationship. They say, oh, they toxic. And I start thinking about it. I said, well, shit, where the toxic people at? Right? It's the same mentality. Until I got into a dark place and I became the toxic person. Nobody gonna tell you that shit. No, they ain't gonna tell you they was a toxic person at one point. But I was a toxic person at one point. And to the point where when I was doing well, there was a gentleman, there was a brother in my ear he was telling me, he kept saying to me, it's all about relationships. I could not hear him, like real talk, keep a hard level. I couldn't hear him. He kept telling me all the time. And I said, why the hell is he always repeat the same damn thing? And he was repeating it because I wasn't getting it. He kept saying it's all about relationship. And it wasn't until I got to the dark place, I said, oh shit, that's what he was talking about. All right. And so I said that because, again, sometimes we think we just want to shoot out the gate and hit it, but that's what you want. You're going to get it. You're going to get what you want, right? But if you're smart, you also get what you need. And what we need is more understanding about who we are, where we are, what the hell is really going on, right? And so when we get that, the game changes. You could do more faster, more efficiently, more effectively because you have understanding. You talk to a person with real, confidence. You talk to a confident photographer. He's not going to the shoot saying, oh, but damn, like, shit, I hope I can figure out the light. Like, man, I maybe if I hit the button, the camera will shoot. No, you talk to a confident photographer. He getting it. I need you here. Right, because he understands what's happening. And so I know from my own personal journey, I can say this. Like, look, I've been the good guy. I've been the toxic guy. I've been both. And I'm telling you, I like being the good guy better than the toxic guy. So the encouragement tonight is if you're a man tonight, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling isolated, you feel like you don't matter, you're feeling like, hey, like Darian said earlier, we get caught up thinking that our self-worth is our net worth. Is that how you say it, Darren? How you say it? Come with it one time. I gotta make sure I commit it. Okay. That our self-worth is our net worth, and it's not true. You are the money, right? As within, so without. See, if there's no enemy within, the enemy can do me no harm. So, wherever you find yourself tonight, whether you're the good person or the toxic person, there's always opportunity. And the opportunity is if you're doing good, duplicate yourself. It's beautiful. You make the world more beautiful like yourself, right? If you're toxic, tune in a little bit. Tap into somebody like Rudy. I had to tap into Rudy to understand relationships. One of the more things I'm most proud of, can't say is the thing. I mean, Rudy did something for me one time. He put up the money for me to do something one time. And guess what? When the time came, I was able to pay him off. Right? He even agreed to a lesser amount, and I paid him the full amount. And I put my chest up because there's a lot of shit I got wrong, but I got that right. And so that relationship, I'm reinforcing the things that matter, right? And so now I got at least a friend, right? That I did right by. And so, one of the things I'm learning on this journey, this is why I say enjoy it. Hard level. One of the things I'm understanding on this journey is I'm learning to enjoy it, is that as I gain understanding, as I apply the new things that I learned, my reality is changing. I no longer can look at myself like the toxic person. I can no longer look at myself like I don't matter. I matter to somebody, right? And so each day I'm moving more towards I do matter. I am important. I'm here for a reason. Sun come up in the left, it sets in the right. That happened all the time. I got to think to myself that infinite intelligence is very specific and didn't create a Bobby B and was like, oh, damn, what I'm going to do now? Right? Where I'm going to put him? This like, source energy, God wasn't like, oh, I created Bobby B. And I'm like, damn, I don't know if I was supposed to, like he shook, right? Not. You here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. So as we turn and tap into that understanding, whatever it is, it can unfold to us, but we got to be more open. So whether you find yourself as a good person, a toxic person, I say lean into it, get your lessons, and encourage other people, man. Especially if you're doing good, duplicate yourself, right?
Yeah,
it feels good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I said we're in an inspiration economy right now. People say we're in an information economy. We're in an inspiration economy. So much uncertainties going on in life, and so these conversations that we're having right now are powerful for those who are here to hear it, and for those who can take what we're hearing and implementing in life. There's going to be tremendous value. And so, like I said, show up and keep showing up. If all you got is one insight, if all you got is a little bit of wisdom, that's enough to transform somebody's life. It just takes one thing. And so today, it's funny, I'll tell you a story. Today, I'm talking to my boys, right? And my son, Dakari, he's going through a little bit of mental transition right now. His goal is to get to 2024 Olympics. And he has the potential, man. He's there. You can see it. And everybody's saying, Dakari, you have the potential. You have the potential to take it the whole way, to do really well. But what he was struggling with was, I recently found out he had some mindsets, right? He had some mindset, the things he's saying to himself that was shutting down his potential. So today we are outside, and I told him, both of them, the story. I said, I went to the car that my dad sold me, right? My dad sold me this car, and I opened up the hood, and I said, I said, sons, I thought about this the other day, and I realized something. And I opened up the hood, and I said, look at this engine. I says, this engine has the potential to run at 360 horsepower, right? It's a potential of 360 horsepower. And I said, but my dad told me, he said, listen, you're going to be able to access the potential of the engine based upon the fuel that he put in. He said, if you put in cheap fuel in this stuff, you may only get about 200 horsepower. If you put in the mid-grade, you may get about 250, 260. But if you put in that premium grade in there, you're going to get access to full potential of that friggin' engine. And my son David said, Dad, that's good. Man, you got me feeling like I'm going to run through some walls right now. He said, that's good. I feel that. Right? And he said, I felt that, Dad. I felt that. He said, and so I said to my son, I said, Dakari, I said, so all this time, what you've been doing is you've been putting in the cheap stuff in your engine called your mind. It's time to upgrade, son, to that premium, because you have all this potential like this engine. You can get that 360 horsepower. You got it in you, but you just been putting in the wrong gas, son. The things that you've been telling yourself, the fears that you've been projecting. And he got it. He was like, yeah, we had a good conversation and we talked. And so when people say knowledge, can transform life, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. That one conversation transformed my son. And he's going to be running this week, and I can tell you that's going to turn into results.
So you know what it is, right? The curry, we got to call him Premium. That's his new name. Premium.
I love that.
I love that.
It. Sew it on the inside of his sleeve right there. Premium.
There you go.
Bro. That's it.
Yeah.
Have it put on the side of his sneakers, so when he go to the Olympics, they zoom in on the shoe and be like, "What is that?"
Come on now. Hey, and when he jump, he gonna jump with himself,
93.
with Darian, with Lamont, with Bobby, with Rudy. All of us gonna fly over that thing, boy.
Yo, he putting in that premium, dog. Like, hey, yo,
Premium, baby.
Hey, come on now.
Somebody put some eyes. Somebody put eyes. Who watch?
Yeah.
I don't know who it was, but somebody put in some eyes in there. I know who
Premium.
That reminds me why for me this community is so important. Because one of the things that I realize about us, today is a perfect example of that. I in full transparency to whoever's listening to me right now and not seeing me, I'm not feeling that, I wasn't feeling the greatest earlier. And I just like, man, I gotta just go down for a minute. I feel the energy being drained out of me. And my brother's like, you know what? I know you're not feeling your best, but we need you. Like, you can do it. Like, we need you to be here. We need you to represent on the show. And it's not about me being here. It's about the premium support that I'm getting from my brothers to elevate and to constantly expand myself. We started our mastermind this past weekend, and we talked about what is it going to take to go from level to level to get to success. because a lot of times it sounds easier than it is. It's like not costing the I've done a lot of build out in my here's a mental hack. I've done a lot of build out in my business for clients, right? Who start with the house, and we sit down, we talk about the blueprint, we talk about, the technology that's going to take to do what, to have the house look a certain way, do certain things. We talk about where the modem is going to be, and the routers and the access points, and all these things that they want, where the TVs are going to be installed, what kind of technology they're going to want to run the house. We talk about these amazing and beautiful things, and what the house is going to look like when it's done. But you know what often happens? In the middle of construction, something goes wrong. What often happens in the middle of constructions, it's messy. There's dust all over the place. It's noisy. It's filthy. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look nice. The roof might cave in. In the middle of construction, you might go through a storm where the roof that you literally just laid up, now there's water leaking all over the place. It looks like, you know what, I just need to give up. And it takes very special skilled people to say it's going to be okay. If you go back to the blueprint, go back to that picture that you had in your mind of what the house is going to look like when we're done, stick to that. As a matter of fact, here's a little tip for you. It's supposed to look like this in this season right now. It's supposed to be dusty. It's supposed to be dirty. There's supposed to be noise and things going all over the place, because why? We're building your dream. And in building your dream, you got to go through it so you can get to it. So still, it's okay. It's going to be all right. And as a matter of fact, I would even invite you to get your hands dirty a little bit, because you're going to appreciate that home when it's done. I've been through that process. I watched my mom build a house from scratch. Matter of fact, she sat down with the designer and designed the house with them, just to see the house at the end as she imagined it in her mind. I remember the dust. I remember not wanting to eat on the bricks and the plywood, because we didn't have a table. We didn't have furniture, because they're still building. But man, I also remember when I got my own room and what it looked like when she was done, when that garden was built inside and she had to walk through the garden to get to her room. I remember that. And I remember telling to her, man, Mom, I'm so proud of you that you built your dream house. Let's build it, fellas. Let's build it.
Wow, powerful.
It's beautiful. What you got, Lamont? That was great.
Kind of speechless right now. We got like a little less than 20 minutes to go. Yeah, a couple things came up for me when Rudy was talking. And it's that, man, the people in your corner are in your corner. Right? We're talking about the mental hacks to overcome life and business failures and setbacks. And to have the right people in your corner is something you can't put a price tag on. You cannot put a price tag on that. Because if you can call somebody, or if somebody sees that you're going through something and they call you and say, hey, you all right? Everything good? How can I help you? That's the piece that will make the failure or the setback a little less hard. It gives you a little bit more fuel to move forward. So, I wanted to see if we could take a couple minutes to talk about, like, what's the other side of that? Like, you have the setback, you have the failure, but what the other side of that looks like, right? And I want to share an experience with you. And I usually would not do this. I usually wouldn't. Most people don't ever hear these stories from me. But I got an email from a client today. And this is what the client said. She said, "Thank you so much for capturing the incredible photos of our runners, staff, volunteers, and sponsors at this event. You have such a great eye, and the emotion in your photos showcase your talent. I appreciate the drive you made from Orlando and the early AM start time you endured. You are the best, and we are so grateful for your professionalism at our events. We are blessed to have you working with us side by side. Thank you." When on the other side of the setback, I read that because on the other side of the setback, when you step into your fullest self, people get to experience that side of you.
Mm-hmm.
And what they begin to see, I was hired by them to do a job, and yet she feels blessed.
Mm-hmm. Damn, I feel that.
Right? So you get to show up in your true self. You get to express yourself, and you get to become a blessing to others, and they still pay you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So for those who are going through a setback, those who are going through a failure, keep going. Keep going. Because on the other side of that is reward. And guess what? The reward may not be as big as somebody else's reward, but it's a reward nonetheless. And that contract was going to lead to more contracts, because guess what? She's going to talk about me. They're going to talk about me. The sponsor is going to talk about me. They're going to see the pictures and be like, "Man, this guy did a great job. Let's continue to hire him." As a matter of fact, I had 2 jobs on Saturday. I had to get another photographer to do. So it's growing. It's growing. So keep going. Keep going. That's what I have to. That's my share.
Yeah, that's good, Demont. It's again a recognition of what Bobby said. Enjoy the journey and look for those small moments along the way that to celebrate, right? Because you can get caught up in waiting for some big windfall to feel good about your impact. But the truth of the matter is you've been making impacts along the way. It's just recognizing the impacts. Just recognizing those moments of beautiful impacts that you've had to people, to your relationships, to yourself, and honoring those. It's so important. One of the things I said last week, and I want to kind of bring to this conversation again, is to help people to recognize, as we talk about, enjoying the journey, right? Recognize that it's all a game. It's all a game that we're playing, right? Think about when you first got your first game system. I mean, I remember it was my Nintendo 64, and my grandmother actually gave us the money to go and buy it. And I swear to you, we were in St. Croix, and every house that you pass by, you heard dun dun dun. You remember that? Y'all remember Duck Hunt, right? I remember those days. And it's interesting because I never looked at the game and said, "Oh my gosh," right? I hope I don't fail, right? I hope I don't ever make a mistake. I don't hope I never ever fall into one of the remember those plants that had the mouth, they would eat you. You jump on it.
Like the Venus flytrap type.
The Venus flytrap. I never said that. I was so excited to just play the game. And I was willing to go through the process. I was willing to, not be right about every move that I made. But I just knew that, hey, if I lost a life, I'm coming back again. I made an intention and decision to beat the game. And I accepted the reality that there were going to be times that I turned the wrong corner. There were times that some of those plants were going to eat me, right? Some of those shells, those ducks were going to eat me, right? I was going to fall into some holes, right? I accepted the reality of the journey. And the experience of the game was beautiful because I accepted that it was just a game and that I was going to have setbacks. I was going to have moments where I didn't actually achieve success, but I was determined to take on the challenge and go through the process. And I was also very aware that at the end of the game, to level up to the next level, that I would have to face something. I have to face some sort of major challenge. I have to face a dragon. Hold on a second. Looks like I'm breaking up. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
you good.
good.
We can hear you.
I was breaking up. Yeah, I had to face something. So if we go through life like that, where we realize it's just a game, and that we're gonna have to go through this journey, and they're gonna be twists and turns, but if we just play the game and play to win, and decide like we decide to, play games, we're gonna beat the game. We said we're gonna beat it. Did you? Hey, Bobby, did you beat the game? Did you beat it? Did you beat Mario Brothers? Hey, but Lamont, did you beat Mario Brothers? Remember, we used to talk like that. You're gonna beat the game, right? That was the thing we used to say. You're gonna beat the game, right? That's what we used to say.
People
And
love games.
yeah, but we love the games, right? And if we just realize life is a game, and here's the key rule to the game. One second. That's my son tried to call me and I got cut off here. My bad. Sorry about that. This is real raw. And if once we realize that it's a game and there's real rules to the game, and one of the rules to the game comes from Winston Churchill, who says this: success is our ability to play that game, to go through the game, to go from failure to failure without losing our enthusiasm. If we realize that's just a rule, we're going to play the game and play the game to win. And at the end of the game, you're going to have to face some sort of dragon. You're going to have to face some sort of boss. And, listen, you just play through that dragon and play through that, learn the ways to beat him. Sometimes you're going to fail. Sometimes he's going to defeat you. And you're going to come back again and you're going to try again. You're going to win. And then guess what? You're going to go to level 2. But guess what? Level 2, you're playing the game all over again. You're going to go through some stuff. You're going to go through some obstacles. You're going to have another dragon, right? And that's his life. As we continue to level up, that's how the game is played. So enjoy the game. Play the game.
I want to add in one thing, Lamont, as we close, you to ask about what does it look like being on the other side. Did you guys see the post about LeBron?
About who?
LeBron.
No.
So the post basically mentioned how did we lose Darian?
No, he
No, you good.
you good.
Okay. I see it now. So I was looking at I'm like, is that me? What the post said, and I wanna actually I wanna quote it because I think it was so powerful and so apropos to what we're talking about today is because he's gotten to the other side of his journey, and he's got more to do, right? Basketball is not just it, I believe, for him. There's more, but basically what they talked about is LeBron James with no father, no education, no training, very few role models. They handed this young dirt poor kid $420,000 per week at the age of 18. He married his high school sweetheart, was never arrested, never used drugs, never humiliated his spouse with side chicks, no outside babies, never in the news with so much as a parking ticket. Excellent father, heavily involved into with kids' activities, one of the greatest players on the planet. 20 years later, same dude, same maturity, same chick, same family, reputation intact, now earning close to $2 million per week, has sent 1,100 plus kids to college, fully paid for, and yet we still find a way to hate him. People still find a way to hate him. And so, if LeBron James can have haters, if Jesus can have haters, if Mandela can have haters, if Martin Luther King can have haters, if Mother Teresa can have haters, who am I? In this game called life. I'm just listen. I'm here for the journey. I love who I am and who I'm becoming every single day because of just being able to take time to say, God, thank you. I am grateful for what you've done. I'm grateful for the friends along the way. I'm grateful for the lessons, for the mentorships. I'm grateful for the things that I learned when I didn't do right and the things that I learned when I did it right. I'm grateful because it is through these things, through life itself, you get to a greater level of purpose where whether you have 100 or you have 100 million, Doesn't even matter. You just are grateful for where you are. That's my share for the night.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate what you said, Rudy. And also, it made me think about one of the things, the lessons I learned along the way that was very, very helpful was Robert Kiyosaki. I remember at one point early on, I really was concerned about what people would say, right? That was like a thing because, I wasn't at the mountaintop anymore. I didn't really know how to handle making it to the mountaintop and then going back into the valley because we're sold in our culture, make $1 million. Once you make the $1 million, you're under the assumption that everything is going to be better, right? And that's not how this works, right? So, by with that illusion that I had, I didn't have a full understanding. But one of the things Robert Kiyosaki said, he said that a third of the people are going to love you, a third of the people are going to hate you, and a third of the people are just not going to care. Your job is to make the third of the people who don't care care. And I'm gonna tell you why that's so important. Because the people who love you, they're gonna love you anyway, bro. It's probably nothing. I got a homeboy of mine. Before he hang up the phone, sometime he tell me, he say, "I love you," and there's nothing you can do about it. Right? Imagine if you had a friend to tell you that shit every time you talk to you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So to Robert Kiyosaki's point, the people who love you, they're gonna love you. You ain't got to put a whole bunch of energy worried about what they think, what they're gonna do. They already love you. The people who hate you, there's nothing. Listen, you could do a PowerPoint lecture. You can donate $1 million. You can hold master classes. You can recruit Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins. You could anybody. You can recruit all of them and make them give a 3-minute speech about why you're wonderful, and the people who hate you still gonna hate you. There's nothing you can do there. The only energy and effort that you can actually put anywhere is the people who just don't give a damn because they're on the fence. And so if you put your energy there, now you can increase the people who love you. So to me, my thought process, once I understood it, and remember, we're talking about gaining understanding. I can really listen. I'm a real talk. Y'all know how I get. I'll be trying to be civilized for the show, right? But the understanding of this thing is now that I know what the hell's going on, I know where I could put my energy. My energy is only put on the things that are going to help advance me because I still need help. So I'm gonna focus on helping myself and play the inside game, right? So, in the third of the people who don't care, maybe I can influence them. Maybe I can impact. Maybe I can help them. Maybe I'm gonna show them, and I'm gonna keep loving the other people. The other thing I want to share, the last point I'll make is this, and Darian had been so kind. This is one of the things I learned from Darian, which has been very powerful in my life. Darian used to always quote Robin Sharma. Things are hard at first, messy in the middle, and beautiful in the end. It make me want to keep going. If I lean into that philosophy, I'm saying I want to go with that. Because if it's hard at first, shit, it's always hard. Damn it. They ain't, how many days I seen it wasn't hard. So that's check. That's already done. The messy part is the part where I'm like, okay, progress over perfection. Let me at least do something. Right. Instead of doing nothing, waiting so I can get it perfect how it used to be, let me just do something. Now I got progress, messy progress. But what my mind is holding on to, this shit gonna be beautiful in the end.
Right.
This is why I say, let's wait 5 years and let's see if it was true.
Come on.
That's it. From now to then, it's just keep laying the bricks to see how it ends up. And guess what? I'm fully convinced that the people who hate me, even most of them are gonna be like, well, damn. That shit. You get them. See? I'm keeping civilized because we on the show.
Right.
But I'm fully convinced that even the people who don't like me, some of them gonna be like, well, he did do the shit.
Right? Or they may say, I didn't really not like you.
That's it. But here's the beautiful part, right? In all of this, where Kiyosaki say, I'm not even gonna put my time there.
Right.
Right? Because I'm not, listen, Darian know what I'm talking about. I'm playing the inside game. I'm not sharp enough to handle your business and my fucking business at the same time. I'm not sharp enough. You might be good. I'm not good. So I'm gonna put all my energy where attention goes, energy flows. If that's true, then you about to see something.
Come on now.
If it's not true, then well, damn it, we need a new philosophy. But I'm gonna prove this one right or wrong first, and that's where my mind at for now. I'm complete.
Yeah, I love it, love it, love it. So let me say one thing, and I know we got to close out. I leave to Lamar to close out. I'll just say this. One of the things that is critical for shifts in our life as we talk about failures and setbacks and successes, period, is the identity that you take on, right? The identities that we take on. And one of the things Tony Robbins said, and this is so true, he says one of the greatest forces in the human psychology is the need to be congruent with the way we see ourselves, with the way we see our identity. And so one of the other things I was saying to my boys today is, one of the ways to play this game of life is just kind of, being a scientist. In everything that you do, be like a scientist. And I asked, what's the scientist's job? Their job is simply to what? Test hypothesis, keep trying to figure something out, see if it works, see if it doesn't work. And to Bobby's point, that's really what it's about. And if you stay in that, and if you stay in that identity along the journey, guess what? Some things are going to work out for you, right? Something's going to work out. So, that's our show today. We want to thank everyone for joining us. We got some people share some comments and great comments and listening to this conversation. And it was a beautiful conversation. And even if it's not for anyone of the audience, it's for us. And that's one of the beautiful things of this conversation. I feel lucky and blessed that I get to have this conversation with you fellas. A lot of people, even at high levels of success, monetary wise, don't even have this. And that's the beautiful thing. We get to do this and build a baseline and continue to go to the levels of the game. And then guess what? At every level, we're going to be here to support each other. And that's the blessing that we get to have that other people won't have.
Right.
And that's meaningful.
Right.
Take it away, Lamont.
No, take it away, Bobby, man. We had a great show tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Can't wait to come back next week. For those of you who don't know, we started our mastermind, Unleash Your Riches, 120 days. I got my 4-month calendar came in today. Man, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about what the growth will look like 120 days from now. And I'm glad to be on this journey with you fellas. So, Bobby, we got an inspiration injection. You want to take us away with that?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys for listening tonight. We hope something resonates with you and that you're moved, touched, and inspired and encouraged. Remember, this is the place where you come to get appreciated, celebrated, and elevated. Tonight's inspiration injection is from none other than Price Pritchett in his book, U Squared, which says, absence of evidence is not evidence of its absence. Appreciate you guys. And everything that you do, what we say at Confidence Factor, and everything that you do, make sure that you keep it
high level.
High level.
High level.
High level. High level.
See you guys next week.
See you guys next week.